What's up, Brawlhalla?
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody.
We got
Hey, who's got
Dave's
coffee?
in
Clink
here.
me.
Clink.
There we go.
Oh, not me. I'll
Yeah.
give you my water though.
Welcome to Brawlhalla.
All right, good man.
What's up, everybody out there in Streamland? Welcome to the Tuesday dev stream. It's not Monday, I know, even though you're seeing me on the stream here. It is not Monday. Be warned. But we've got Dave, Brawlhalla's art director, on the stream here today, and we're going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and putting them in the game. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to show you pictures and stuff. We got all kinds of like work in progress stuff that didn't make it into the game. I mean, we're really pulling the curtain back here, and you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. So here we go. Here's our first little behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
This looks like maybe the first spread of avatars we did, and artists are deciding like what's worth touching up and pursuing. Is that right? Okay.
That's correct.
So looking at some of these, obviously, that's everyone's favorite. I think that's my favorite for sure. And it ended up being animated.
Oh
too.
yeah, with the masks.
Like that's.
And A made it in, I think. Krang was in there.
Oh yeah.
Now, Tagu was the artist who did this spread of some avatars, and the Channel 6 up there. Now, this was fun because we're trying to already figure out like what is visually exciting, what is obviously so inextricably linked to like the perception of turtles, in our heads, and not just turtles in general, but specifically the turtles that were from like the cartoon that started in like '89, So
I'm so glad we.
That's what we were going for. So
that's what we were excited about.
So, for real. Some of the stuff you would see here in this spread, possibly I think B and maybe F, they kind of feel like some of the more modern takes, and so that was like, okay, so now we've got all of our imagery. Let's find out what is like most representative of this exact era of turtles, and that's what we're going to stick with. But it was nice to be able to see this whole range. I mean, we started with a whole range of stuff from the entire run of the IP.
Here's the ones that actually did make it into the game, and I guess this is after revising. Like, okay, we definitely wanted A and G from the last one, and then a couple new ones, and maybe there was more iterations and stuff behind the scenes on this. But here's what we ended up with, and these are all the rough sketches of it, the current avatars that are in the crossover. And I gotta say, a real good spread. A real good spread.
Yeah, super fun spread. It's funny how it's very villain centered, actually.
Oh,
I'm just now realizing.
There are three. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Enough
That's
avatars. Let's move on.
Right.
What else do we got here? Ooh, okay. Ooh, kind of like the first one of the first legend drawing and weapon spreads we ever did.
That's right.
These are well, they look nicer than sketches, but these aren't like what went into the game, right?
Well, yeah, this is not the actual in-game art. My dog is sneezing here on stream. Okay, yeah. That's not the in-game art, but this I believe this spread was by Jordan, and Jordan was the one who nailed down the actual look of them in the game. Yeah. And I was thrilled. I was over the moon because I was looking forward to seeing what we would land on, but I already kind of had like some loose idea of what maybe I was even expecting, and he nailed it. I mean, as soon as he did it, I was like, I really love how the turtles are drawn here. Makes sense. Jordan's an amazing artist. He's probably not even watching this right now, which is good because he would be embarrassed if I started complimenting him on stream. We started gushing on him.
Now you know. The weapons certainly changed quite a bit on all of these. All of these definitely.
Yeah, for sure. We tried a few things. Well, what was fun is that we were considering things like, okay, you know how when you'd buy a new Ninja Turtle figure and they would come packaged with their main weapon and just like a smattering of offhand weapons that they would have, like they would have little throwing stars and kunai and whatever else. And we're like, we could pull from that,
The grappling hook that Mikey had, I remember we were talking about that a little bit.
That's right, he had a grappling hook at one point.
Yeah, I think that was...
Yeah, we had considered that.
Yeah, the grappling hook. That showed up a little bit, but obviously...
We knew that we wanted it somewhere, but when we decided to put it on the scythe, I can't remember who originally pitched it. It might have been Karen. We were like, well, okay, can the Mousers be an avatar? Can there be a sidekick and like fly you in? Can Baxter show up? So we came up with all kinds of ways to put it in there. And then when we kept thinking about the idea of Donnie being, techie, he's a tech head. What if he was doing reused, scrap and all that? And then it came out, the idea with the mouse around the sights is because if you take off the jaw and all of a sudden it's the same shape as the sight. We were like, oh, well, there you go. Okay. Yeah. It was perfect.
Good story. Oh, I love these little cutie pies, dude. These are like the chibi versions of the turtles. This is some of the select, right? But
this is some of the first stuff that SJ showed us with the character select, and it already had such like a fun timing to it, and it felt like, you see Mikey come out, you're like, wow, okay, Michelangelo is in fact a party dude.
Yeah, he looks like a party dude out here.
And so this was really this solved a few problems even early on, even though things like kind of got tweaked and all, because we were like, okay, so yes, thank you, we definitely want sewer lids, and turtles popping out. We want secret of the ooze, all that stuff, and such attitude. There was such a good, strong attitude being displayed. So we just wanted to build on that.
What's up here? Ooh, Splinter. This was maybe our first. This was a. This is Splinter concept.jpg. So
yeah. That's right.
So this was
I believe was
this the first draft? I mean, this looks great.
No, I don't think this was the first draft. This was I'm pretty certain this was Steven, or Cupcake Debbie,
Cupcake
which is his given name.
Yeah, they know him as Steven.
Yeah, they know.
We made up a nickname for him, Steven, because we thought Cupcake Debbie was silly.
Well, so Steven did this one, and I remember this exact checkpoint was when he was getting some feedback on like, okay, so it looks like it's part of the attack and not just another character that's like being controlled. He wanted to play with the color of the line art, so it's not just like a black painted line. You got like a color to it, so it still is a bit separate from the characters. But also this was also presenting a final look for how Splinter could appear in the game.
That's good insight. I didn't think about that, but that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a lot of things like that.
Yeah, that outline is kind of purplish, which is Jiro's, the color of Jiro's.
Yeah, there's that too, right?
I didn't even.
What's cool about all these when characters appear? I'm trying to think of when we first did that. I suppose I don't know how far back that goes, if it goes back to WWE or sooner, but the idea of having other characters show up, when we first did that with a crossover, we were hooked. I mean, we were like, we got to do this with every single crossover we can that we grab. It's like, okay, who is not going to make it onto the roster but can make a guest appearance in a SIG? And man, like
Lion.
One of the first things we think about.
Steven Universe stuff, having Lion in there was now this looks like maybe more of a rough. This was, even though the other one was concept.png, this looks like more concept.png, or maybe sketch.png.
Yeah. This looks like, and I hope I'm not wrong, because I know everyone got a piece of like concepting for the characters, but this kind of smacks of Jade drawing. It's either Jade or Sarah, but I feel like it could have been Jade.
Great. So this is like, this could work, right? Where this is an artist asking another artist if they think it'll work, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see this opportunity to put a character over an effect and keep that exact same thread area and retain all the hitbox information, so that it's like being truthful to what the players expect. And then we see a sample like this, and we're like, yes, it's definitely going to work. That'll work. We got it.
Well, that's Casey Jones.
Yeah,
it was this.
Casey Jones.
So this, I mean, the pose of it looks a lot like it was being considered maybe for the Jiro Downsig. Is that true, or is this just?
Yeah, this was actually during production of it. It had already been approved and it was going through. And this is from Steven, and he was submitting a sample, one of the frames, to take a look at things. And I remember looking at this one and thinking like, okay, for the hair, can it be all that just to fill in, so it's like fewer details with like shadow in the hair, or do we want to keep it line art and okay, here are some details maybe we can shave down and stuff like that. But This went in game almost exactly as is, I think.
Oh, right, on the neutral sig. Is that right?
That's right.
On the Giro
Yeah.
neutral sig. Or
I was so
side? Yeah,
excited to
side
see
neutral.
Casey show up.
Yeah, he like comes in and slap shots or something. It's,
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah, yeah. It
does.
was awesome. I was such a huge fan.
I remember. Ooh, okay. First off, I love
This is
this
definitely
style.
Jade.
Who drew this? This
Yeah.
is this is
This
spicy.
Jade. This Jade.
Oh, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
this is
I
Jade.
love that
I
kickflip.
love it. I love it when I love seeing that when he draws his concepts. Like the shapes are so appealing. It's got all this good stuff for animation. You could see the action just by looking at this one, two,
Yeah.
three, set of images. This image here actually shows a pretty important part of Mikey's development with the nunchucks, because I don't know if you've noticed, we don't have nunchucks in the game, or nunchaku, but I'm gonna be a scrub and call them nunchucks. So
That's fair.
we went back and forth on a lot of different options for Mikey. I mean, with really all the turtles, we had options like, okay, this character could work on XYZ,
Yeah.
for this reason, that reason, this reason. And it took a lot of thought and to figure out what we thought the best fit was. And a lot of times it comes down to what's good for the SIGs, what's good for the weapons, and honestly, what are we just that enthusiastic about? And so we landed on Mikey Val. That was pretty fun, because I think not all of us expected that, because we're like, well, how do we solve for nunchucks? And then it was Jade, I believe, was the first one to pitch the exact solution that you see, which is, how the swords have that active state, where you can see the glow on a
Wait a
strike.
second. Hold on. I'm gonna keep talking, but I'm definitely gonna bring up a
Oh,
very
you got some?
relevant
You
picture
got some?
here.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Well, as you were saying.
Okay.
As you were saying.
This is exactly the moment when we saw this this concept from Jade. It's like everything stopped, and we were like, "Whoa, that's the answer."
It makes
Because
sense.
we had thought about how to communicate the nunchucks on a couple of different weapons, and this was the first one where like that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because when you're not swinging the sword around, you could have the nunchucks chambered, because it's not putting out a threat area then, right?
Yeah.
But then it can expand into the swing on an active state, which is that's when you're putting out a hitbox, and that's when that matters.
Yep.
And so then after that, it was some
worked out.
fine tuning to get the most exciting version of that. But man, alive, that was so cool.
For sure. I remember seeing even the concept on Katars, and it was a little problematic.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like
'Cause
these
they
are
were
hitbox.
constantly
You're
spinning.
idle, and it looks like, first off, this
Yeah.
is not how anybody stands with,
Exactly.
with nunchucks. Like, and,
Yeah.
they look
It was-
hitbox
it
and
was-
stuff. So, yeah, when I saw
Yeah.
the nunchucks come on the sword, I was like, yeah, this is... How did we not think of this before, Because this is, in my head,
seriously.
obviously I'm not involved in any of this stuff, but in my head, when we said TMNT, I'm like, we can do it with the nunchucks,
We're gonna do, yes. There were a few of those like,
perfect.
oh man, how are we gonna do that? I think that
Well, I
like
wasn't
when we
worried for
saw-
any amount of time. I'm like, I know our artists, they're going to nail it every time. I mean, no problem. But
Well, yeah, it's funny because
was
we weren't
curious.
concerned, because we figured we would end up at a fun solution, but that was one of the ones where we were scratching our heads for a while and coming up with like rapid fire ideas, because obviously Donnie was like, okay, he goes on a spear character clearly. Leo, oh goodness, what are we gonna do with that? I don't know, sword. So
Yeah.
and then Raph, we were like, Sai, okay, it's gonna be one of the dopest guitar skins ever. We know that, and yeah, Mikey was the one that we had to park on for a bit.
yeah. Here we go. How about this one, Dave? Let's make it a little bit bigger
Yeah.
for the folks at home. Okay, there you go.
That's fun. Yeah. So here's the main takeaway from this is that we sometimes when we're doing these crossovers, we're trying to think about what is this one kind of visual element that we can string throughout as many of the SIGs as possible. And with the turtles, we were like, okay, pizza has to be one, and skateboards was another, and sewer lids. And those things were like, okay, those are some anchor points that we can use. And as soon as we knew that we were going to do Jiro Leo, or maybe this was even when we were considering Jiro, this was one of the pitches that came up, is that He jumps in the air. Okay, bam, he pops a sewer lid up, you know? It
Yeah,
could
this
just
makes
be this
sense.
visual anchor point. Yeah.
This looks like a
It's all
really
for it's
early
just
sketch, maybe even one of the first
yeah, yeah.
concepts, and I mean, it pretty much
Yeah.
made it into the
This was
game full send.
yeah.
Just like,
Yep.
do you know who concepted this one or who drew this one?
Um
Hard
yeah,
to say.
this,
It's
this
like a
to me it's hard to say, but this looks like Sarah.
okay. Yeah, this looks like a
Yeah,
style
if I
not
already
often
guess.
see. Like when it's Mike making a sketch, I like so know it's Mike. It's easy to see that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you're like, that's
He has a very
adorable. It's Mike,
specific
yeah.
style.
Right.
Yeah, this looks great. I like this style. Though. How about this? Ooh, okay. So relevant to the one we just watched.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
This
rough
looks like
sketch. I
this
think
looks
this
like
was Steven.
this looks like Steven. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think I remember seeing this one, and I remember thinking like, oh man, I love the way the pizza moves around as it's getting cut up, just like it's getting, like
Yeah.
just the force is back and
Physics.
forth with the swords. Yeah, I love it. Big fan.
Got to be a real
And
sharp blade to be moving it that little, you know. But what else do you
right,
expect from Leonardo?
exactly. He's a pro.
He's a pro.
This is the pro strat. MLG, no damage. So this was also really fun to see because it was that okay, like I said before, what are our visual anchor points for the IP? And we're like skateboards, pizza, sewer lids, and this had we're like
Says almost
how often
everything.
can we use all three? And this one came up, and I swear Steven, he cracks me up, and I love this about him when we know what some of those anchor points are. Steven wants to get those things in as often as possible. He's like, can he kickflip on a skateboard? Can he cut up a skateboard? Can he eat the skateboard? Can he digest it? And this was Steven being himself and trying to get like, okay, kickflip. We're like, that's great. And then he slices up. He's like, wait, pizza. Kickflip into pizza. Okay. That's a lot of stuff. Are you good? He's like, no, it's already done.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't put wheels on a sewer lid and have him kip flipping that.
Yeah, if there's something I would want everyone to take away from this is that this stuff is always a labor of love, and so when this concept comes through, it doesn't come through like, all right, it's on the they put it on the desk and let me know what you think. It's like this is enthusiasm. I mean, we're like actually really jazzed.
Yeah.
To see these things. We laugh, we try to plus one the ideas or yes and the ideas, and yeah, it's just a big ball of enthusiasm.
I remember Steven sent me this one, and I'm usually not part of like the process for art stuff, but I used to skateboard a lot back in the day, and Dolce as well, right? So Steven actually sent me and Dolce this exact clip. And was like, does this flip trick make sense? Like he's doing a 360 flip.
Check,
and it was like, the physics are maybe a little like as it slows down at the end, but it looks so good that this is perfect. Like, don't change a thing. He totally nailed it.
And that's what I love about animation is that he can get a check from you on like what is effectively correct, but otherwise he's then interpreting something.
Right.
To make it like fun, to make it feel good. That's part of that appeal of animation.
Like what's happening?
Yeah,
with the that is just rad.
That's right. If it looks right, it is right. That's the truth.
that's the mantra that we live by. All right, what else we got on this behind the scenes here? Oh, check this out. Okay, a little bit of.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's Jade.
This is Jade. Dude. That Splinter looks like that is just. Like, that's good fan art right there.
Yeah, it's good, right? I really love that.
That's really good.
It's so fun. Yeah, this is fun stuff. I feel like maybe this was it possible that this was when Val does that gauntlet sig
neutral.
where the up and down?
Yeah, I'm guessing this was a concept for the gauntlet neutral. Similar to like Lion from Steven Universe.
Right.
Like,
and so then
can we bring out
Splinter's the surrogate there.
How's it gonna work? He pops out of a sewer. Ah, yes, we can pop anybody out of a sewer. That makes sense.
Yeah, right. Once we had sewer lids, we're like, oh well, anything can come out of there. Yeah. It could be the
pizza,
the turtle
swords,
bus. Yeah, it could be pizza. It could be swords. It could be pizza. It could be
Skateboards.
it could be
It
pizza.
could
It
be
could
Casey
be,
Jones, literally. Yep, that happens. Good
or it could
stuff.
be pizza.
I love sewer pizza. Yum.
It's a funny thing about stuff like that. Like speaking from experience, when you sketch something out and you're pleased with it and you're ready to show it, sometimes it does come like that, and other times you agonize over the tiniest little sketch just to show it. But yeah,
Artist
it's the
life.
process, man.
It's
It's
the
always
process.
different.
Ooh. So
Yes.
this
Okay.
almost exactly
This
like
is
this in
this is
final,
so
right?
dope. This is so dope. Jade was, I believe Donnie was always Jade's favorite turtle, and it's because he's the more reserved one, and well,
Yeah.
there you go, that's Jade.
That's
Donnie
pretty
basically
much.
is Jade, and
Yep.
he's the he's techie, he's a creative problem solver, and so Jade was very into the idea of using the tech and holograms and stuff, because we already knew that we thought that Mirage would be a good fit, and I think that the seed of that idea was because of her SIGs when she's like in the sand and low, and I think Left Stick, I remember him saying like, I hopped into a Discord room and they're like, Dave, you're here. We got it. We figured out turtles. It's like, okay, that was fast. We haven't started production, but that's great. And they were telling me the idea, like I say, is like Josh was there and Left Stick was there, and they were telling me all about this idea for Donnie being in the shell, and that's the threat area, right? Or that's the hurt box that Mirage occupies. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And as soon as we started thinking about that, Jade was like, okay, so Mirage does the things where she's got the sand double, and he's like, it's a hologram.
Ooh, okay. Oh, this is some real behind the scenes. This is like, shoo, this is like
Yeah.
part of the process here. Can you tell me about this one, Dave?
Yeah, this was another one where this was after we decided that Raph was going to go on Ragnar, which is such a good fit. And honestly, I'm thrilled because Ragnar, my main in Brawlhalla is Jala, and then right after Jala it's Ragnar.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled to get Raph, whom I love, onto a character that I love to use.
Yes,
And
same.
this was another one where I remember, Raph moves forward. So Steven was like, skateboard, pizza. He's on a pizza. He's on a pizza. He's eating a skateboard and he's on a pizza. And we're like, okay, well, let's pick one. And so we were like, skateboard totally makes sense. And what you're seeing here was it was during that iteration process to figure out the timing on that skateboard and figure out, okay, the movement, the kickoff into the attack. So yeah, this was trying to figure out the timing on that.
Interesting. It's almost like you took a thing, you alphaed it out a little bit, and then you're sketching over it to make frame by frame, make it like how's it gonna work?
That is correct. This is trying to nail down the beats of the entire thing, putting it right over this is often how the animators will work. Now, doing these crossovers, they just alpha it out, they just put it right on top, so that way we know that we're sticking exactly to the threat, the hitbox and the hurt box, all of it. Yeah.
Ooh, all right. This is the loop for the pizza. This is maybe, what is this, like the first concept we did for what can it work like?
Yeah, probably early on, and like you could see with right all the way under the hood the model, and it's got a tail to account for characters with tails, and I think that might have started around the time we had Vortex. We're like, all right, we should figure out what a tail looks like.
This is a bit of an updated Brawl Boy. People are,
this is an update,
especially the hardcore fans out there, they are familiar with Brawl Boy. That's like our default model.
Yeah.
If you've ever like messed around in training mode hard enough where you made the game forget what model you're supposed to be using, this is what you get.
Yeah. And you see that, and you see the Dr. Manhattan eye right in the middle. But,
it's been updated because the tail, that's new. That we didn't have a tail before. Obviously, you got the red limbs.
Well, it's funny. I mean, we say new, but
well, okay, yeah. I mean, new since I think the last time we showed Brawl Boy on a stream was like 2019 or something.
So Brandon did this, and this was early on where we're figuring out what the pizza emote would look like in a loop when you hold the emote. So.
Yeah, I noticed that with all of our whenever we're animating these emotes. You got to know it needs to work on a flick, on a quick just tap of the taunt. It needs to make sense and fit in with the right amount of time, and not like, you don't die if you like slide charge it or whatever. We try to make it long enough, like, short enough to not do that.
Right. Yeah,
And,
that's a thing. I mean, seriously, it's funny when we get new tech in the game, like slide charging, and all of a sudden you could do that with an emote just for style points. We actually have to make sure the loop is too long that you accidentally like take a step.
we had that issue with the charged OG
Off of
taunt.
new tech. Yeah.
The charged OG taunt
That's
at the
funny.
first where you drink and all that, and it's like, yeah, you used to just SD if you slide charge if you slide charge that taunt at all. And we're like, I mean, it would be fine if we left that in, but we want people to be able to slide charge.
That's a funny other inside baseball kind of look at game development, everyone who's watching, because you introduce a piece of tech that's fun, and all of a sudden you find some random edge case where some other thing in your game suddenly becomes a hazard, and then you have to solve for that with every new one that you make. And it's fine, and we build it into the pipeline now, but it's funny how that stuff comes up.
It's like the deal with it glasses. That I don't think
You're
anybody
right.
realized just how much work the deal with it glasses would be in the long run. Every character
Wild.
needs a custom.
It seems like it should be the simplest one. You're like, what? Just pull a PNG down onto the face. Like it's actually a lot of work.
Here. Oh, okay. Now we're getting a little spicy here. This is maybe a little pulling the curtain a little too far back, but here's weapon options. These are some, what else could we do? What else could we do? Right? Like, not really. So that people can decide what's best. Look at these traffic cone guys.
Yeah. See,
cool.
there is this measure of like, try wacky stuff that you think might not work, but just try it anyways, because you're always trying to find out where the line is.
Yeah.
And the best way to find out where the line is to just go way past it and go, it was back there. And that's honestly the best way to find where it is, because you want to be right on it with like cool and silly and stuff like that with a lot of things. And so the idea came across like, it's Mikey. Like, what would he do? He'd be like, we're going to fight. And he just punches his hand through a traffic cone just because he's excited to do something. And you see some of the Donnie sides there where we're like, okay, found objects. He's clever. He would make something. Yeah. I'm glad we made our way to the Mauser. But before then, someone left stick, I think he suggested. Yeah, he was like, a giant pizza cutter. We're like, that's cool. But would Donnie use that to fight with, or would we use that because we bought it at Target and we thought it was dope, that it was like a Ninja Turtles themed pizza slicer? But that's the thing though, right? I love that he suggested that, because we're trying to think of stuff that's like silly and fun, and we're trying to figure out what balance of silly and rad and dope do we want, so we try all that stuff. I like that one. That's a fun concept. And the other one is like if ooze just kind of crystallized on its way out, like being cracked out of a little ooze chamber. And then the one that you can't see very well, that's an Easter egg that Steven had pitched. That it's a road sign or a street sign that says Eastman Ave because of Kevin Eastman.
Is that this one here?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, Eastman and Laird, because those are the guys that came up with Turtles. Like the creators.
That's pretty cool.
Comics. Yeah.
Very cool, man. That's some good behind the scenes knowledge right there. All right, let's keep moving on.
And even though we liked the Easter egg of it, we're like, okay, but what's more visually exciting? The Easter egg is fun, but we weren't counting on enough people catching on to that. Maybe it was a bit too inside, even though I did like it. This here, that's Mike. Of course, that's Mike.
I can tell.
Yeah.
This looks like
it was so fun. Like when we first started Brawlhalla, the first logo for Brawlhalla, and I think people who were like way original would know this, that the logo had that kind of cartoon fight cloud, right?
Yeah.
And it was fun to see that come back, even though it's not. This isn't necessarily meant to reference that, but it's fun. It's fun, and so for me, it was fun to see it again in our game, but with just a different context altogether. Yeah, this was when it was moving further along, and Mike was starting to tie down the timing, the action, the placement of everything.
Oh, and the big, there's more detail.
Yeah.
Still image.
That was when he posted that internally. It was like, hey, this is what it's gonna look like. Do we like this?
I love this one, Dave. I believe you drew this. If I'm
No, this is Jordan. This is Jordan.
Really? Oh my God, Jordan. Okay, hold on. I specially created a scene for this so that we can get a real good look at it. Here we go. Yeah, I just wanted to get a real good look at this. Wow, Jordan, what a beast. What a beast, Jordan. Yeah. This looks so good. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Look at Donnie there. Oh man, this is so rad.
It's fun to see. It's fun to see like the public like promotional stuff start to take shape because, you know, it's different. You're not drawing on the game rig anymore. You're just kind of like expressing
right
a bit further beyond that. You know?
All right, what else we got here?
He's got a good sense of appeal. Yeah. So these would have come from Manny, and this was after a bit of iteration, and we kind of knew which elements we wanted to include because, you know, they're in New York City, right? And so It's not just making it read as a slice of New York City, but also you got to push it further than that. So it's not just New York, it's the Turtles, New York, you know? So we've got, it's a little blurry on my screen, but I think you can see the Channel 6. Is that the Channel 6 news building? Okay, yeah, I got it now. Yeah, and the Turtles blimp, which I really wanted the blimp in there somewhere in the game. So I'm glad it showed up. And then just a few little Easter eggs. You got some ooze, you got Casey Jones hockey mask, you got Foot Clan graffiti, and yeah.
I mean, so the file name of this is podiumconcept.png, but this looks real close to the final, and I think I have the final.
Yeah.
Go here. Yeah, here's the
well, there you go. Yeah.
Animations.
Yeah, it had some extra stuff in it. Yeah, that's really cool.
And we got the spotlights, the blimps animated, the sparks, the water. But really close to the concept. I mean, looks like we just hit it out of the park right off the bat.
Yeah, the concept was further along at that point. And what I like about this is that here's another thing that we considered. We try to, you know, hit more than one bird with one stone. And so in this case, we were like, okay, if it's on the street, then when the Turtles have their select animation, you have a manhole on the street, you know? And so it can look like it fits in its environment if you pair a turtle with the podium.
Ah, I see. That's right. Right, because you're not seeing the manhole here because that's part of the character select animation that we showed earlier.
So it's fun that if you put them together, you get a bit more out of it.
Totally, the idea. Makes sense. We're done now with the images, and now it's all about video. So we've got some video coming up, and actually this next one is a little more my behind the scenes on this one. So let me tell you a story, Dave, about this one. Okay, so I talked about this a little bit on the actual reveal stream, but people were asking about that 4-player combo in the trailer. That was me with 4 controllers, like doing it frame by frame. And I wish I had the picture. I totally should have grabbed the picture, but I had to label with sticky notes like on my controllers, like this is Leonardo, this is Donatello, this is Raphael. Amazing. Because I would like I'm like
so good. See, this is
cables
this
is
game development. It's the love of the game. That's what drives this man to do that crazy stuff. You know what? I did not know that actually. I assumed that it was like you and Slosh and
that's usually how we do those combos. So this one we needed 4 people on a 5th target, and we did come up with a combo that was pretty good, pretty okay. But the amount of signatures required, because we want to show off all these different signatures, they all 4 need to get into it. The combo was like fast and hard to land, you know, and it's even when we landed, it's like not super satisfying, at least for me. And so I was like, look, I know, you know, just like in training mode in Brawlhalla, you know, with our dev build, you can do that same kind of frame stepping stuff, but with 4 controllers. So I was like, give me a chance, guys. Let me see if I can figure this out, you know. And I spent a while doing it just because I wanted to see what it would look like. And so even before the trailers, even before the Turtles were actually even in the game, I made this concept. So here it is.
This is great.
This is the concept.
Wow.
And you can see the characters are, on the correct. They're on the correct legends and everything, and I even colored them to match.
You got them like different colors. Yeah,
Let
that's
me make this bigger here. We cover
wow,
this up a
look at
little bit
that.
with this. So this was the concept. This was like me convincing the other devs that let me do the task.
Let me do this.
It made it so much harder for the trailer, but I'm like, come on, it's gonna be so sick. Look what I can do when it's frame by frame.
That's amazing.
And this was before, I had a few limitations, right? Donatello's signatures aren't ready yet, so no Donnie signatures. You want to start with all their main weapons. Swap the weapons is okay, but better off not doing. And so, okay, I will meet all of those qualifications. What they didn't tell me was the time limit, right? And so I went and made like a 20-second long combo. And they're like, we have to do it in like 6 seconds. So I couldn't actually use this one, but let me show it to you guys. This is finally the place where I can reveal this is the combo I actually made for the trailer, and then had to go and make a different version when we realized that it was too long. So here it is.
I've heard about this. I haven't seen the full thing though.
This is it.
Wow, this is like one of those Reddit posts when someone is inside the Matrix,
It's still going.
doing these big combos. It's still going.
What's important to know about this combo is that it could work live, and it's not DIable, and it's a true combo the whole way through.
Okay. Now that you folks have seen it, let's get a challenge to get 4 of you, right? Some 4 friends, and recreate, like repro this combo. And let's make it legit. That's what I want to see.
I would be so amazed if 4 friends could actually pull this off live. This took so much tweaking frame by frame. Like, oh, he's not there yet. I need to go back now and do it 3 frames earlier so that it'll connect like 300 frames later. It's like I can't even imagine pulling this off.
There are some heroes out there that are gonna make this happen.
Maybe maybe. Maybe.
Or even best effort. Like, I gotta see it. That was sick. I love it.
What we've got now is stuff about the trailer, work in progress stuff on the trailer. I've got them right here, not in full screen, but if it turns out that, Dave, you feel like we need to put it in full screen, I can make that happen. So here we go. Let's just show what we got here. Here is the work.
That was a.
So what do you want to say about this?
This was a mixture of me and Sarah and Jade, and then I just stitched a lot of the pieces together so we could submit a first draft, not just to get feedback and approval on it, but also to show the rest of the audiovisual trailer team so that Britt could be thinking about sound cues and music and things like that.
And now what this is, you sent me this before the stream, an ending, a rough of an alternate ending of the trailer that didn't make it into the final trailer. So this is some serious, like, not just a rough version, but something that didn't.
Cutting room floor.
You've never seen it. Yeah, cutting room floor stuff. So here it is. Check it out. That's a good ending right there. Like, wow, and this guy, and then this guy, and then bam, slice him up.
Wanted something with a lot of punch, but it ended up getting cut. I decided not to use it really just because of time constraints.
Yeah,
there wouldn't have been time to actually make it. And that's really it. And so I remember Duke telling me it's cool because Foda's got this nasty team combo that we can use for the end, and I was like, hey, if you say it's nasty, I'm with you. Let's go.
Oh man, my combo took the place of this ending. Oh no.
No, that's actually what happened. I was like, hey, okay, let's hit it. I'm good.
Yeah, I love how the Raph's guitar swipes makes the X.
Into the
That's so cool.
That was kind of like. The idea was really just it was a delivery method of getting just the Raph slashing into the thing.
Man, there's something surreal about just seeing our logos together like this.
Yeah, it's kind of
Whew.
wild, right? You see
Yeah.
our
What the
logos
heck?
next to some of these majorly dope uh, uh, IPs. Yeah.
Okay, so we've come to the final asset that we have to share with everybody. It's called Leo Process.mp4.
Yeah.
You know what this is. I don't know what this is. Go ahead. What do you? Oh, okay,
I'll let it I'll let it loop once. What you're
okay.
seeing is the start to finish.
Oh, love it. Okay, so okay, this is
Yeah.
version one right here.
Yeah,
The
that's version
roughest
one.
of
That's
rough
like,
drafts, and then
yeah, yeah.
slightly tuned up a little more. Here's what it's gonna look like, and then lined,
hmm
outlined, and colored.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
what
so
you're seeing, the
cool.
first phase, and it's kind of the abridged version of
Yeah.
the process of the pipeline, but you're seeing a rough and then a tie down and then final, right? And the final has got a lot of stuff because the rough, it's like that's where I'm getting it timed the way that I want it to, more or less, and I'm really just sketching in roughly the whole animation. And then the tie down is when I've gone in and I've done my in betweens and all the things that are in between keyframes, and then I've also tied down the drawings so that they're ready to go to cleanup. And then in the final, you're seeing a few things together. You're seeing cleanup, you're seeing color, and you're seeing compositing. And the compositing is when you put everything all together. And I did that whooshing background back there in the trailer. The animated, or not the painted background of the city and of the street. That was Manny. That's what you see there. And then the backgrounds that
Oh.
are just behind them, I just did those kind of quickish in I use TV Paint is the animation program that I use. And so I made a background with just several frames that I could loop. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember that from the show, right? And I looked at the intro to the original show, and yeah, they had a few moments in the show where they just had this whooshing color background. I was like, well, that's great. I'm just
Oh,
gonna do
you
that.
nailed
And
it. Yeah.
bing bam boom. Yeah.
I like how when Leonardo jumps, all these swooshes like rotate with him. And that
Yeah,
seems
the
like,
idea is that the camera is moving around the character so that you can see
yeah,
uh, this movement arc,
that's
give
crazy.
you,
I think that actually
yeah.
does a lot. And I didn't even, if you
Good,
didn't
good,
talk about it just now, I wouldn't have even noticed. It's like a trick. You're
good, good.
tricking me.
Well, like, hopefully, what I was hoping to accomplish is that, you've
It
got
works.
him doing this trick, but instead of him just being in one point on the screen, and then, I wanted him to move around so your eye has something to trace, and he looks like he's spinning around and doing something really athletic. And then, if you see the background also shift with him in compositing, you get this sense, hopefully, that the camera's moving around the character, and then you're just seeing a hype version of that action. But yeah, I really wanted to, whenever we would submit things, and Nickelodeon was like, yeah, this is great, well, let's see their main weapon more. Like, got it, I have an idea. And so that's when I was like, okay, I want him to pull these things out in mid flip and slash, and I want the screen to just because he didn't slash at nothing. Like, he slashed at the entire camera.
Yeah, and the whole scene
Yeah,
gets cut and slides off like a. That's very
yeah. I'm glad
cool.
that
I really like that effect.
went through. Cool,
And
cool.
that
I'm
made it
glad.
into the
And
final, right? That
yeah, yeah,
slice.
yeah. It made it
Yeah,
into the final. The only thing that
very
doesn't get
cool.
sliced is his name because I wanted to make sure that you didn't. It just didn't seem like it would be correct to take the character's name of this major property and like just destroy it. So that felt wrong. Um, and plus,
It
it's
works.
less time that it's legible, so there's all kinds of stuff like that. Now, I just made this one for Leo because I had all the pieces right there, so I just made this 1, 2, 3 pipeline version. It was like that for all of them, and there was a mixture of people that were involved in getting that done. Sarah did roughs for in the beginning with the sewer lid popping up and the view, and that kind of informed the scene that Manny painted, and then Sarah roughed out Mikey when he drops down and he whips around. He does the pizza bite, and Terry tied that one down, and then I did cleanup in color, and then Jade roughed out Donnie's shot, and he did that entire. We call it Hollow Donnie, or the holodown, where that's when he's like, he's taunting and then he goes through it. So that was the last one that got done. So Jade and I were really working close back and forth because that was he wrote and roughed that Donnie shot, which I really enjoy.
Man,
so, yeah.
That's really cool. It's crazy to me that all of our artists, or not all, but a lot of our artists that make animations and art for the gameplay of Brawlhalla are all collaborating on also the trailer. Like,
yeah,
I got to imagine a lot of studios would have a whole different team for who draws the trailers, but our artists get to just flex.
That's true.
Look what happens when Dave does a trailer, man. Like, this is just you didn't have to. You could have told somebody to do this. But I'm glad you did. I think that's cool.
I like animation. I keep trying to push and get better at it, and I keep trying to pay attention to what our animators on the team are doing, because I'm learning from them. I'm trying to observe them as closely as I can and learn from what they're doing right. And yeah, you're right. For any one of these, it would be a different group of people getting mentioned or talking about it, because it's like whoever has the enthusiasm and to get a piece of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll just get better at doing it.
Very cool. All right. Well, that is the end of our behind the scenes stream.
There you go.
There you go. You got it from Dave himself, from the art director himself. You've got all the behind the scenes knowledge. Now that knowledge is your responsibility. Do with it what you will.